Bron Breakker destroys Brock Lesnar. Edge is coming back to WWE. The Rock tears up as he reveals the truth about Ava's WWE career. An injury update on Jey Uso after his Wrestle Palooza disaster. The WWE quietly makes a huge change to Logan Paul's status. Randy Orton's wife calls out WWE for disrespect. Backstage reaction to ESPN's terrible Wrestle Palooza review. Triple H is not qualified to run WWE. A big John Cena announcement is coming up. The Undertaker makes his worst decisions in WWE. Let's dive right in. Edge is coming back to WWE. WWE great Edge, also known as Adam Copeland, walked away from the Stamford Company in September 2023 when his deal ran out. He jumped straight into AEW for his next chapter. Lately, the rated R superstar has been leaving clues that point to a possible comeback to the sports entertainment giant. Copeland has had a fun ride in the Tony Khan-run promotion. He and Christian Cage paired up at All Out, taking down FTR in a solid win. In a wild turn, Beth Phoenix even debuted to back her husband. But right after the bell, FTR nailed her with a spike piledriver while Copeland watched, stuck in handcuffs. On tonight's Dynamite, he popped up in a video chat with Cage saying he needs to step back because his family is taking the hit. He added that he's not sure if he'll ever come back. That has folks guessing he might head to WWE. John Cena's retirement is closing in, with just 4 open dates left after Crown Jewel 2025 in his goodbye tour, where he'll face AJ Styles one-on-one. The last real champion has tangled with his biggest old foes from his legendary days, like CM Punk, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, R-Truth, and now AJ Styles. Edge shares a fiery past with the Cenation leader, and both shaped each other's paths big time. The rated R superstar tipped his hat to his old rival John Cena during his AEW All-Out match by hitting the 5-knuckle shuffle. Meanwhile, Cena pulled out Edge's corner spear in a bout against Sami Zayn. Plus, the Cenation leader shared a photo of the rated R superstar on his official Instagram account. Adam Copeland broke down FTR's attack at All Out after the clip played on tonight's Dynamite. Cope told his close pal Christian that he can't keep going like this, and it's not the first time his family has gotten caught in the crossfire. Now he wants to head home and leave it all behind, but he's not sure when or if he'll return. That said, Edge might swing back to the Stamford Company one last time, ditching AEW, and square off with John Cena in his retirement match at Saturday night's Main Event 2025. Last year, in a chat on Insight with Chris Van Vliet, Cope shared that he had only 1.5 years left on his AEW deal, and then he'd finally call it quits. It's already the end of 2025, and his contract with All Elite Wrestling might have wrapped up. If so, the rated R superstar could return to WWE for a double retirement clash against John Cena at WWE SNME in December, closing the book on the Ruthless Aggression era. The Rock tears up as he reveals the truth about Ava's WWE career. The Rock got choked up talking about his daughter Ava's journey in WWE. Ava, whose real name is Simone Johnson, signed with WWE in 2020 and stepped into the NXT ring 2 years later. Now she's killing it as NXT's on-screen general manager, fully owning the role. During an MTV UK interview at a special screening of The Smashing Machine, The Rock was asked how proud he is of Ava. The Brahma Bull beamed with pride before pausing, tears in his eyes, and shared why it hit so deep. "I grew up in wrestling. She was born into it too, just like I was. And when she said, 'I want to do what you do, but the difference is, it's why I get emotional,' she's like, 'I want to do what you do, but I want to carve my own path. That's a difference,' he said." The wrestling legend called it a big deal when he heard her say that. You know, it's easy for any kid who wants to come up and do what their parents are doing. Maybe it's not overt, but to utilize the influence. It never happened. I never got that call. Like, hey, could you call someone? I never got that call, and that's the truth. And that's the thing that makes me proud, he added. Some have thrown shade at Ava, claiming she leaned on her dad's clout to jumpstart her WWE career. But the Great One shut that down, saying she's all about forging her own way. Last year, The Rock was a major player heading into WrestleMania 40, teaming with Roman Reigns for a tag match against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins on the grand stage. Earlier this year at Elimination Chamber, he stirred things up by steering John Cena's heel turn while laying into Rhodes. Everyone expected him to be a big part of WrestleMania 41 and Cena's villain arc, but the WWE icon skipped the show and hasn't been on TV since. With The Rock recently slimming down for a new movie role, it's up in the air when fans might see him back in WWE. The Rock got asked about UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall wanting to try WWE. When pressed if he'd take on the British MMA star as his first opponent, he didn't hold back. There's one answer as The Rock, which is, "I'll rock bottom his Candier." But then there's the other answer, which is, "I love Tom, I've got a lot of respect for him," he said. The People's Champion gave Aspinall props, saying wrestling's not for everyone, but the UFC fighter would be a blast to watch. "I think he would be a great WWE performer. He's a kind of guy you just already know who's just disciplined and committed, and he's a fan." And that's the thing, right? With the fighters. We've had a lot of fighters try and cross over into WWE, and it's not always for everybody, but Tom would be fun, he added. Fans raised eyebrows earlier this month when The Rock looked leaner than usual. usual. Some worried about his health, others guessed it was for a film role. Talking to Sport Bible, the final boss cleared it up. I gained 30 pounds to play Mark Kerr, and then came back down after that to my normal weight of around 250 or so. Now, I'm in the process of slimming down where I play a 70-something-year-old man. So the slimming down is happening, and we have time to do it, which is really nice. There's nothing extreme about it. I can't wait because, again, it's the opportunity that I have where I can immerse myself into something and disappear, Rocky said. An injury update on Jey Uso after his Wrestle Palooza disaster. Jey Uso took a nasty cut to his head during the Usos' wild tag match against Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed at WWE Wrestle Palooza. A couple of days after pinning LA Knight on Raw, main event, Jey gave fans a look at how he's healing up. Jimmy and Jey hit the ring together for the first time since March, facing the Bronze with LA Knight calling the shots as guest ref. Knight let the rules slide as things got out of hand, and weapons flew everywhere. At one wild spot, the Yeet Master cracked Breakker across the back with a steel chair. He swung too hard, and the chair bounced back, splitting his head open. Word came out he went into concussion protocol, but docs cleared him quick, letting him drop Knight 2 nights later on Raw. On Wednesday, Jey posted a photo to his Instagram stories showing the stitches on his head. It's coming along well, but man, it still looks rough. Check out the shot here, shared by Wrestling World CC on X. What's ahead for the Usos keeps everyone guessing, especially with their beef heating up against the megastar. Jey can't stand LA Knight, but Jimmy seems ready to back his old SmackDown buddy. Jey hasn't gone full villain yet, but he's flashing some dark edges while still pulling huge cheers from the crowd. Inside sources ripped the idea of turning main event Jey bad during the latest Legion of Raw on Sportskeeda WrestleBinge. What is the point of making people boo Jey Uso? Can somebody explain that to me? He's lifting up kids in the crowd, everybody is yeeting, we're selling Yeet shirts, and he's the #1 merch guy. And now you've literally got the fans booing him, inside sources said. The Yeet Masters' drive to grab world gold again hit roadblocks left and right, mostly thanks to the Vision. The WWE quietly makes a huge change to Logan Paul's status. WWE made a quiet but massive tweak to Logan Paul's TV role, even after a big reveal about him earlier in 2025. This comes from a new report. On the latest WrestleVotes radio on WrestleBinge, Joey Votes and TC broke down the social media giant, saying he's marked as a free agent inside the company. That might not sound huge, but WWE had said back in 2025 that Logan Paul would stick to Monday Night Raw before the show's Netflix jump. WrestleVotes added that this switch happened sometime this year, which explains his beef with John Cena landing on SmackDown. Not everyone knows this. But after that wild mess in Japan, where Logan Paul shot video of a body in the famous Aokigahara forest, the YouTube star spilled on the True Geordie podcast that his publicist told him to wipe all his pics and clips with The Rock, since the Great One wanted zero ties to him then. To set the scene, this hit when The Rock was at his movie star peak, and as you know, he has a full team behind him. That includes PR folks. And back then, linking with the social media star was bad news for his image. On his latest YouTube video, Logan Paul shared that The Rock finally reached out with a private message, burying their grudge after over 7 years. Yo, my brother, I know I look super cool right now. Bjorn, say hello to Logan Paul. Yo, brother, I know you're doing Benny Safdie today. I'm so happy, man, that you're going to meet him. That is my guy. That's my brother. And he changed my life, and I just want you to know that. And you guys are going to have an amazing talk. I told Benny how much, man, I just loved you, and you guys are going to have a great talk. Keep in mind, in The Rock's message from over 7 years back, he said they could patch things up someday. But at the time, his brand was too key to risk with Paul. Funny enough, since then, Paul turned into a WWE superstar, while The Rock chased more serious film gigs. Logan Paul just made a huge personal reveal. The Maverick also dropped his on-screen bad guy mask to thank his supporters. Logan Paul took a giant leap in his romance with Nina Agdal, tying the knot with his longtime love in August 2025. The Maverick just took another bold move in his private life. Paul snapped up a pricey new home, dropping $32,500,000 as the title of his newest YouTube vlog shows. In the clip, the ex-WWE United States champion also broke character to shout out his fans, who stuck with him over the years, saying his viewers put him where he is. My brother and I both think like this, but we like putting ourselves in positions that force us to have to work harder. I already work hard as it is, and I absolutely love what I do, and the fact that you guys have been supporting me through all these years means the world because you guys are the reason that I'm in this position. I'm not like an actor or a musician where I can just do the art and then forget about the fans. It's like, no, I only get the recognition because of the fans, because of you guys, he said. The Maverick went on to say he owes his fans big time, who shaped his rise. He added that after grabbing that fancy house, he has no option but to grind even more. And so I'm literally eternally grateful for this relationship that I've got to build over the past 20 years of making content and putting it on YouTube. Like, I've literally been creating videos since I was like 8, 9 years old, and it's manifested in something like this, which is absolutely insane. Can barely speak. But I feel like now, I have no choice but to make it work. When you make a purchase like this, at least for me, I try to level up in my head and level up in my life in a way where I'm life maxing, and my output is going to have to be great. And in order for my output to be great, my input's got to be great. For my input to be great, I got to work my FA off. And now I don't have a choice. On a recent Sportskeeda Wrestling's Unscripted, John Cena's dad said he saw Logan Paul as packed with skill and WWE's next big wave. Logan Paul, I am going to tell you something. That young man can be the next future of the WWE. That kid has a lot going for him. We'll have to wait and see what's coming for Logan Paul after his rough scrap with John Cena at WWE Clash in Paris. Randy Orton's wife calls out WWE for disrespect. Randy Orton's wife, Kim, fired back at WWE over what she sees as straight-up disrespect. The Viper last hit the ring a couple weeks back on SmackDown, clashing with Drew McIntyre, but he got left off Wrestle Palooza, WWE's big ESPN launch. This fits a pattern of Randy Orton missing out on WWE's spotlight moments lately. An Instagram page called it out loud. The post slammed WWE for keeping the Viper away from huge nights like Raw's 25th anniversary, SmackDown's 25th anniversary, the Raw Netflix debut, and now Wrestle Palooza. Well, this ain't first time Orton being left out of a major WWE event. Raw 25th anniversary, X SmackDown, 25th anniversary X Raw, Netflix, Premiere X ESPN, Premiere X, and few more. Disrespect after disrespect, the post mentioned. That hit home for Kim Orton, who jumped in the comments and backed the call out on her husband's treatment. "You ain't wrong," she wrote in the comments section. Even as a 14-time WWE World Champion and one of the company's true heavyweights, Orton's spots have felt off-kilter these days. Ric Flair jumped in too, ripping WWE for underutilizing the legend killer. Flair hinted Orton might have rubbed someone wrong backstage, and that's why his bookings keep falling flat. Randy Orton skipped Wrestlepalooza, but if his idea had landed, the night could have flipped. Bodyslam.net reported that Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre pushed for Orton to crash their WWE Championship match. The plan had Orton screwing over his old legacy buddy Rhodes, handing McIntyre the win. That would have sparked a hot feud between Rhodes and Orton down the line, but the pitch got shot down, and Rhodes held onto his title with a straight-up victory over McIntyre. Backstage reaction to ESPN's terrible Wrestlepalooza review. ESPN's main site slammed Wrestlepalooza 2025 with a harsh C grade. A new report spills how that landed behind the scenes at WWE. On the latest WrestleVotes radio on WrestleBinge, Joey Votes and TC broke down the viral hit where ESPN slapped the show with a C on its official page. It caught everyone off guard, since this was ESPN's first big premium live event with WWE. Sure, the night drew plenty of flack, but the site went ahead and ran the review anyway. Joey Votes and TC nailed it, sharing that lots of folks inside WWE were stunned ESPN dropped a C so openly. Backstage, they saw it as just another premium live event. Inside sources, like most folks sizing up the show, weren't thrilled with Wrestlepalooza 2025. Beyond that, inside sources think WWE Chief Content Officer and Head of Creative Triple H might catch heat. On a recent episode of the Coach and Bro Show, inside sources explained why they see Triple H in a tough spot with ESPN. They figure ESPN needs to sit down with the game to make sure WWE doesn't slack on the deal. If I'm ESPN, I'm having a conversation with Triple H. This was the first big show and you promised surprises, and a lot of people might have bought this because you put the seed in their head. So, can you explain to us in your mind what the surprise was? They've got to have these conversations with the WWE. Otherwise, Coach, they're just gonna coast. Inside sources said. Inside sources basically mean ESPN should set some lines with WWE to lock in strong shows. With over $1.5 billion on the table over 5 years, the sports entertainment giant wants real value. Wrestlepalooza didn't kick things off strong, but ESPN has said before that they don't call the shots on WWE's content. That came up when asked about their take on Brock Lesnar showing up on ESPN amid his legal mess. Triple H not qualified to run WWE. Inside sources recently took aim at Triple H, backing up Bret Hart's scorching take on the game. In a new interview, Bret Hart ripped into Triple H, the 3-time Hall of Famer, unloading on how the chief content officer wouldn't hold that spot if he hadn't married the boss's daughter. He flat out said he had little respect for the King of Kings. On a recent episode of Sportskeeda's Writing with Russo, inside sources echoed Bret's view on the wrestling icon. They questioned if the game would even be in that role without tying the knot with Stephanie McMahon. Inside sources added that plenty of wrestling vets outshine Triple H in smarts, but would never land the chief content officer gig. Bret is the guy. Bret is only going to say things that Bret would say. How many people would say that? How many people would say, listen man, if he didn't marry Stephanie, he would not be in that spot. I could think of people in the wrestling business who are much, much smarter than Triple H that never in a million years would wind up in a spot like that. So, that's the reality of the situation. I'm sorry. I look at Shawn, I look at Triple H, and I look at Taker, and I ask myself the question, how qualified are these guys for their positions, and what makes them qualified? The fact that they were great wrestlers does not qualify them. The King of Kings has been catching heat left and right since Wrestle Palooza. The show kicked off a fresh chapter for WWE, but plenty of fans felt it fell flat, with nothing big or memorable going down. A big John Cena announcement is coming up. John Cena has just a handful of matches left before his WWE days wrap up for good. WWE's set to drop a massive reveal about him as early as this weekend. On the latest WrestleVotes radio on Wrestle Binge, Joey Votes and TC shared that WWE might announce the spot for Cena's last bout right away. It was first planned for his Boston hometown, but now it's shifting to Washington, D.C. They didn't spell out much more than the location, but a big Cena update is coming soon from the sports entertainment powerhouse. After WWE rushed in AJ Styles versus John Cena right after the Brock Lesnar mess at WrestlePalooza, that leaves slim pickings for his final two rivals. One fresh name surfaced. Bodyslam.net says inside talks have floated John Cena against the current Intercontinental and AAA Mega Champion Dominic Mysterio. If it lands, it'll probably hit Survivor Series 2025 or Saturday night's main event. Putting Dominic as John Cena's last foe would turn heads. Lots of fans have tossed around the idea of them clashing, but he rarely pops up in chats about Cena's big send-off. Still, it'd make for a killer watch. With AJ Styles locked for Crown Jewel, a scrap with Dominic Mysterio could be Cena's shot to snag one last title run. If Dominic's still holding the Intercontinental Championship, Cena could check off his last big goal, Grand Slam champion status. Everyone's counting down his final spots, now down to fingers on one hand. The Undertaker makes his worst decisions in WWE. The Undertaker spilled the tea on one of his worst calls during his WWE career. The dead man ruled World Wrestling Entertainment for 3 decades, switching up his style plenty of times. As the Attitude Era wound down, he ditched the spooky vibe for a gritty American badass biker look. This new persona let The Undertaker play with his style and gear. He nailed it most of the time, but one choice still haunts him. On his 6 Feet Under podcast, the Phenom opened up about his infamous outfit at Survivor Series 2000. For his WWE Championship clash with Kurt Angle, he rocked snakeskin pants. There was instant regret when I put them on, and then even more regret when I knew that I didn't have a backup pair. I didn't have my black regular pants that I normally would wear. I didn't have those. So, I was left with no other option other than to wear the snakeskin pants, he said. The Deadman thought the pants would make him look slick, but they flopped hard. He even remembered WWE's seamstress, Terry Anderson, trying to steer him away from the choice. I am on board with everyone else that was probably one of the worst wardrobe decisions that I ever made. They were horrible. They were horrid, he added. The Undertaker said those snakeskin pants stole the spotlight from what was a killer match against Angle. On the same podcast, he also dug into the end of his WrestleMania streak at the hands of Brock Lesnar in 2014. The Phenom admitted no one wanted the streak to die, but said he had to follow orders. The wrestling icon noted that pushing back could have led to a real brawl with Lesnar. WrestleMania 30 still stings for fans, with the Beast becoming the first to topple the Deadman at the show of shows, snapping his 21-win streak. Bron Breakker destroys Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is back in the WWE spotlight after smashing John Cena at WrestlePalooza. A fresh report just spilled WWE's big ideas for him in early 2026. On the latest WrestleVotes radio on Wrestle Binge, Joey Votes and TC shared that the Beast Incarnate is locked in for the 2026 Royal Rumble and WrestleMania 42. That means the creative team is already mapping out his spots, betting he'll show up strong. It's no shock since WWE's official WrestleMania 42 poster features Lesnar's face right up front. Even though ESPN stepped back from the Beast Incarnate over the Janelle Grant legal mess, WWE's all in, hyping him for their big upcoming cards. Now that Brock Lesnar looks set for the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia and WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas, everyone's wondering who he'll tangle with next. A new report just named one killer rival. Bodyslam.net says inside talks have floated Brock Lesnar versus Bron Breakker at least once. If that hits, it'd be a total smash in Las Vegas. Whenever Bron Breakker's future comes up, the Beast Incarnate always pops as a dream foe. It'd be the perfect handoff moment, and they could tease it as early as the Royal Rumble with a quick clash. All it takes is Breakker dumping Lesnar from the Rumble lineup, and boom, that's enough spark for a big future fight. With both guys packing that raw power and speed, it's tough not to get fired up picturing these two monsters colliding at WrestleMania 42.